this opportunity to talk about our study. So as Professor Kuriyama talked about the design or outline of the study, so I'd like to introduce more about practical issues or activities of the TMM Cohort study, and especially what kind of strategies we did for recruitment of study participants to you all. So first, the Tohoku Medical Megabank project launched after the Great East Japan earthquake to establish an advanced medical system to foster the reconstruction from the disaster. As many of you remember, the disaster occurred on March 11, 2011, and a tsunami subsequently widely hit the northeast coast. And the number of people who passed away and are missing is about 20,000. And this is where we live in. And our prefecture lost the most people. And many other countries and people helped us a lot. So we really appreciate for your help, and we'll never forget it. So to reconstruct the area and establish a better quality of medicine, the Tohoku Medical Megabank project was created an umbrella project for several action plans. And to pursue these plans, genome cohort studies and an integrated biobank were a core part of the project. The TMM birth and 3-generation cohort study was launched in Miyagi Prefecture in 2013. And our target population was 20,000 pair of pregnant women and their babies. In addition, we also recruited their family members, and in total, recruiting about 70,000 people was our goal. So this study is a population-based birth cohort study. We recruited pregnant women not only at our own research centers, so-called community support centers, but also at obstetric clinics or hospitals we recruited. An inclusion criteria of pregnant women was to live in Miyagi Prefecture. On the other hand, we asked for their family members to participate in the study regardless of their residence, but only after pregnant women allowed us to contact them. So if you look at this slide, this is what we have investigated during the study. We basically recruit pregnant women around the gestational age of week 12. After recruitment, we ask pregnant women to fill out a questionnaire and take blood and urine samples twice during pregnancy. During the postpartum period, we collect their blood and breast milk. In addition, we ask them to fill out another questionnaire. Until this point, we see the pregnant women in the medical facilities. But from then on, we exchange questionnaires by mail once every half or 1 year. As for the children, we collect an umbilical cord blood sample. We also ask mothers or guardians of both children and their siblings to fill out questionnaires by mail once every half or 1 year. We also study the father and grandparents from when the mother is pregnant to 1 month after birth. We only ask them to fill out a questionnaire and take blood and urine samples once at the baseline. After childbirth, we exchange questionnaires by mail once every half or 1 year. And when children become 5 years old, We invite all family members again to our community support centers to get blood and urine samples and measure their physiological data, except siblings, because they are independently invited when they become 5, 10, or 16 years old. So here are examples of our data. We decided what we measured, referring to other major studies to validate comparability. We collect basic characteristics such as age, socioeconomic status, and lifestyle habits. Blood or saliva and urine samples are collected for analyzing their genome as well as metabolome or proteome. We also examine blood cell counts, allergy, and other basic cell chemistry. Most participants were recruited at obstetric clinics or hospitals, but those who could visit our community support center measured their physiological data, such as body composition, blood pressure, and so on. And some of the participants also had MRIs taken. In addition, we collect and copy their maternal and child health handbook, medical charts, and school health reports. A maternal and child health handbook is a notebook to record health information from pregnancy to childbearing, and all pregnant women in Japan receive that handbook from the municipality where they live. So as I mentioned, we have a biobank as well. And EDTA and blood serum are stored in -80 degrees Celsius. And also heparinized blood is stored in -180 degrees. And by September 2017, we have stored 1.4 million tubes of any kind of biospecimens from our participants. So this slide shows the process of the study. And of course, the whole study process begins from informed consent, and the samples and data are taken at medical facilities or our community support centers. And the samples are delivered to ToMMo headquarters. And these samples are stored at ToMMo, and some result or electronic data is also stored on servers. Our target diseases are any which are concerning, such as increase the prevalence or exacerbation after the disaster. These include allergies such as asthma and atopic dermatitis, infectious diseases such as influenza, and lifestyle-related diseases, as well as neurodevelopmental disorders, inborn errors of metabolism, and mental disorders. So, the number of participating mothers that we expected, represented here as this line, was based on another birth cohort study conducted in the same prefecture. But the actual mothers' participation slope was this one, more gentle. The total participant slope, including all family members, this one, was also, sorry, this is actual number. This one is more gentle than that we expected. But finally, we recruited more than 70,000 people by the end of March this year. So the reason we can achieve enough number of participants is that, of course, medical facilities support our project so much, And maybe the concern of pregnant women has been increasing since the earthquake. In addition, we made efforts to create a good environment for the success of the project. I would like to share some of the strategies we have been using. First, we did some pilot surveys on assessing the attitude of people and pregnant women for the project, and thought about how we could explain the project better to get them to join the project. And after that, we realized the needs for simpler materials for better understanding of the project, so we created. And introducing our project to the public aggressively was another strategy we used. So as I briefly mentioned, before starting our cohort study, 2 pilot studies were conducted. So I want to go into further detail about the local people. So one was the questionnaire survey, and it was conducted in this town. It's a coastal area located in the southern part of Miyagi Prefecture. On the day of the Great East Japan earthquake, 37.2% of this town was affected by the tsunami. The questionnaire was distributed 284 people, of which 51.8% were women and 81% of them were aged over 60 years were eligible for this analysis. So in both men and women, more than 90% of the participants agreed to join a health survey investigating the adverse effect of the disaster. As for data collection method, the highest percentage of men agreed to have a blood test, whereas the highest percentage of women agreed to fill out the questionnaire. In the less than 60 years aged group, the highest percentage of participants agreed to a blood test, followed by a questionnaire, MRI, urine test, and home blood pressure measurement, in that order. An MRI examination was the most preferable method among the 60 to 69 years old and over 70 years age group. So, and as for genomic analysis, more than 80% of the participants in both sexes and all age groups answered that they agreed to have this analysis. Men tended to show more interest in genomic analysis than women. However, there was no significant difference between them. And the participants were also asked whether they would want an MRI examination if the results were returned to them. A higher percentage of men agree with having an MRI examination than women if the results were provided. And over 70% of the participants wanted to have a pharmacogenetic test and to receive feedback on which medications were suitable or unsuitable for them. And here is the other study. It was an interview study. And we interviewed both pregnant women and grandparents to find a way to explain the context of the project, our project explicitly, as well as to determine what might motivate people to participate in the study. And one obstetric hospital and 2 municipalities introduced us to potential interview candidates whom we asked to participate in the interview. And Both pregnant women and adults living in coastal areas thought that studying the current health status of residents is important or necessary, whereas those living in inland areas felt that establishing precision medicine was more attractive than studying their current health status. In particular, one pregnant woman living in a coastal area thought that the study was necessary for her health as well as for her parents. Another pregnant woman living in an inland area was more focused on the genetic influence on her baby. However, even though we identify the characteristics of our target population, many interviewees were confused by our project because of the complexity, sometimes overly so, for our idea of the study. For example, during the interview, some people told us that the relationship between disaster and genome analysis was unclear, and about why genome analysis is superior to other type of studies, or about why children is necessary for the study. So to explain the complex idea of our study is an understandable way to people, we had to make a clear logical scenario for informed consent. And in particular, both people who want to improve their current health and who want to contribute to improve their future health should understand the study and be motivated to participate in the study. So for example, objective should keep a good balance between health for now and health for future. And the main actor should be clarified as to whom this study contributes, and what kind of cooperation is needed, and how participants' data will be utilized. Therefore, we divided the scenario of informed consent into two sections. First, we explained to them that health concerns are increasing after the disaster, and for improving health for preventing disease occurrence, health survey was important for all people living in the local area. And what the study participants would do during the study, like a questionnaire, taking blood and urine samples, and MRIs. We also explained what results they would receive. After that, we told them that we would like to utilize their contribution for establishing precision medicine, and talked about genome or other analysis and what we wanted to achieve in the future. And finally, we made this additional material for recruitment after the pilot survey. And we also show the whole schedule of the study for each participant to help them to get clear image for future investigation. And here is an approach to women and family members. So once a doctor confirms their pregnancy, they are introduced pregnant women to our staff. So we obtain informed consent from pregnant women mainly at the maternal clinics or hospitals where they plan to give birth. If any family members accompanied the pregnant women for maternal checkups or delivery, we invited them to participate in the study at the time. But we also utilize other settings to recruit family members, such as community support centers were also capable to recruit and obtain informed consent from family members. However, those centers could not always be open. Therefore, we rented some public facilities in neighborhoods where 10 or more family members who were willing to participate in the study lived, and invited them there. And sometimes we even visited their home to obtain informed consent. Usually, pregnant women explain about the study to their family members. So we created several kinds of invitation letters for them to help pregnant women easily to explain the study. In particular, we made invitation letters for each family member, such as for fathers and for grandparents. As I mentioned before, one of the most important strategies we achieved the recruitment was involving obstetric clinics and hospitals. All medical facilities where they assist with childbirth cooperated with us, and most of them allowed us to stay in the facilities. And we hired research coordinators, and they recruited people at the obstetric clinics and hospitals. And we also visited the head of each municipality and asked for their support from the very beginning of the preparation period of the study. Especially, we asked health centers run by municipalities to introduce the study to pregnant women who come to them for maternal and child health handbook. And here it's about Tokyo. It's Tokyo, and this is Miyagi Prefecture. So the size is bigger than Tokyo, and the farthest facility is in this city, and it takes about 2.5 hours from here to the headquarters. And as well as recruiting people at medical facilities, we also recruited people at our community support centers, as I mentioned. The centers are located in 7 areas all over Miyagi Prefecture and get the consent to take biospecimens and physiological data. And I would like to introduce other kind of strategies. And mascots are also useful for PR. We asked a local designer to create our own mascots. We then used those characters for posters or any other materials to draw people's attention. When we cooperated with municipalities or local event organizers, we stood our dog mascot here in front of our vendor, and many people, especially who participated in our study, visited us actually. And they had a very good impact on our project. We also used local newspapers and PR brochures in each municipality. In particular, people living in rural areas often check local news and brochures. And that's why they had a big impact as well and were very helpful for spreading the information of our project. And we air TV commercials from January to March. I'd like to show the movie.
作りを家族みんなでサポートするんだ。
詳しくはここか。
So we created several patterns of TV commercial and used the same mascot for the materials which we made. And we also taking an opportunity to meet participants or to send a questionnaire. We distributed them our newsletter. Its contents were able to were about the total number of participants and some basic data from questionnaires or medical records, like the mean of age, child's birth rate, and the proportion of women who live with their parents. So some of the participants might have shared with other family members, and such experience motivated them to participate in our study. And we created several kind of goods as an incentive. We also used e-money as an incentive for returning a questionnaire or taking blood samples. We usually, as appreciation, we give them 1,000 yen for each timing of data collection. It's about 250 Taiwan dollars. So, as a result of using many strategies, we could constantly recruit pregnant women. And about other family members, for example, father tended to participate in the study a couple of months after their partner participated. So the line of the participants per week, like a mountain. And siblings as well. But they participated in the study almost the same time as pregnant women's participation because mothers are usually their guardians and take them to the obstetric clinics when mothers visit the facilities for antenatal care. On the other hand, grandparents had different tendency to participate in the study. This might be because they accompanied with pregnant women for their delivery or postpartum checkups 1 month after the delivery. So here I briefly show some baseline characteristics of our participants. Mothers participated in the study around 32 years old. About half of them experienced child delivery first time. In Japan, we don't recommend pregnant women to smoke during pregnancy, but 17% of them actually smoked when they are aware of their pregnancy. And 11% pregnant women answered that their houses were devastated by the disaster. And the mean age of father was 2 years older than mothers. Those who have ever experienced to smoke was 66% of fathers, as well as 77% of grandfathers and 21% of grandmothers. And over 10% of each family member experienced that their houses were destroyed totally by the disaster. And about newborns, 7% were born in preterm and 10% were low birth rate. So we are still cleaning the data at baseline. So now it's time to concentrate more on their follow-up. We are trying to several ideas to keep high follow-up rate. For example, combination of phones, short mail, and letter. We remind them to return the questionnaire and to invite them to our community support center. We also use not only a letter but also calling them directly. And we make an interesting environment for kids and send them a birthday card as well. And those who answer the questionnaire or coming to our community support center get some incentives as they got at baseline period. It is challenging to keep a high follow-up rate because people living in the central area or near prefecture may easily to move to other areas because of their work or family issue. So we will continue to inquire the best way for the participants to keep joining in the study. And we also would like to learn the strategy for the follow-up from other studies. So thank you very much for listening to my presentation.